Yo, what up? What up? What up? What up? You know, per the usual, let y'all jam out to some music for a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and start this live stream talking about the Thunderbolts. Is it or is it not Thunderbolt Ross's Thunderbolts? Uh, if you cannot hear me, let me know. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Sorry if it's coming to an end too soon. Okay, yeah, you can't see me. I know that's on purpose. Appreciate you. I'm slowly learning how to use my mic so that it doesn't pick up the whole rest of the feedback from the house. Listen, Linda, okay? I have decided that whether we win or lose, I'm not watching this Warriors game. Uh, I don't even want to be like, oh, faith of a mustard seed. Listen, it ain't looking good either way. Whether we win or lose, it ain't looking good. So, either we win by the skin of our teeth, and then we go and we play the Timberwolves exhausted and worn out and still without a big because they don't want to play Kaminga, or we lose tonight and it's an end of an era. But either way, you have to appreciate Steph Curry in all of his greatness. And yeah, actually, I'm wearing a Cookie Monster Warrior shirt or Steph Curry shirt. I actually, what's up? Actually, purposefully did not watch any basketball Saturday or today at all. I didn't watch the Thunder Cavs game. I don't know who won. I didn't check the score. I'll worry about it next week. Um, yeah, I really thought we were gonna win the last game, bro. Like I really did. Like for real. Like even while we were like getting destroyed in the game before that, I was like, oh, it'll be okay. We're gonna go home. It'll be fine. Even if we get by through the skin of our teeth, we'll be fine. And like it wasn't. Clarity will bring me peace. Facts. Facts. Put that on a t-shirt. I mean, listen, if we get past the first round, it's gonna be a miracle. We ain't got no Uncle Drew on the team, but it truly is the end of an era, man. Like think about it, like AD ain't in, LeBron ain't in, uh, Kai ain't in, KD ain't in, uh, Kawhi's gone, Harden's gone, Clay's gone. You know what I mean? The only two people left is Steph and Dre, man, of the old era. And I mean, I don't count, Tatum and Jalen Brown as old guards. Giannis is gone. Even though he's not an old guard, but he's gone. Dame is gone. He's an old guard, kinda. It's really gonna be up to these new dudes. Now, Denver, Jokic is still there, and Murray, and those are the last two. But I mean, here's the thing, that's the question. If they get beat, if Denver loses, are people gonna watch the finals? If it's OKC and the Timberwolves for the Western Conference Finals, are people gonna watch? It's the question. If it's Boston versus OKC, are people gonna watch the finals? Those are big questions to answer, right? So, yes, it's the passing of the torch, but is that good for NBA ratings? Listen, if my team ain't in there, I don't care. Like, I don't have a backup team. Sure, it'd be cool to watch Ant-Man do something, prime time, but doesn't make a difference to me. No, Furious Styles, aka Westbrook. Westbrook is gone. Well, Westbrook is in Denver, right? True. Now, wouldn't that be crazy? I mean, if Denver and Westbrook win something and he finally get his chip and then he retires before Harden, I mean, crazy. And then that just reinforces the whole like Clippers can't get it done. Clippers can't get it done. OKC, I don't know. What if it's like the new OKC? What if the new OKC gets further than the OKC? I don't know. I was never an OKC fan, so that's not my people's. Except for KD, he's always welcome back. And I heard he may be looking for a team. Giannis may be looking for a team. Jalen Brown may be looking for a team. Hell, Clay and Kai might be looking for a team. AD could stay where he at. Everyone deserves a chip before Harden. True, but Mr. Slave Feet looked like he was going to try to do something. I didn't watch the game yesterday. I don't know how bad it got. I don't know if they put up a good effort. I don't know if somebody got hurt. I don't know if they just got blown out. I don't know nothing. I just saw that they lost. But I don't know, man. I think the hardest part for me is with all the old dudes losing is making me feel like I'm old. And it's crazy to think, like, how can I base my life and my longevity off of other people's? But I mean, is there some type of saying for when you see your gods fall? What does that do for you? And not saying that they're gods, but I mean they're like, you know, almost more than human. It seems like. So if they fall, what does that mean about me? Am I just decrepit and crippled? I don't know. And I thought Harden and Kawhi were gonna do a little something. It looked like Kawhi had a little bit of life left in him. So I don't know, man. But I mean, do y'all really want to hear me talk about the good old days? Is that what y'all are here for, or do y'all want to hear me talk about the greatest Marvel movie of 2025. Before I do that, though, let me see. I did want to mention Ryan Coogler. Okay, before I do that, so obviously I got to do, I got to do the welcome to Midwatch. It's your boy, TMI, aka London, aka your favorite critic with care. I guess I got to put out the disclaimer that I am not a fanboy. So if you come in to hear me rant and rave about, Marvel movies, I'm not that person. If you're here to hear me criticize and ish on movies that I have no input on because of the message, I'm not that person either, right? I'm a watcher of movies and TV shows. I am a English major, so I have a little bit of insight of what writing is like, and I'm a critic, so I'm just gonna give you my honest opinion. Hopefully, you appreciate that. If not, sorry for you. I'm sure there's somebody on YouTube you'll find that'll give you what you want. So I'm not pro anything or anyone over anything else. I enjoy writing. Good characters and plot lines that make sense. So uh, last week we talked, I don't know if it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I had a live on Sinners. So if you've just seen that or are still trying to dissect how that's made you feel, go check out my live for Sinners. I'll probably post it in the comments. And yeah, and if you've seen Thunderbolts, let me know. Let me know now what you thought, what you rated before I get into it, and then you can see. Here's the thing: I'm also going to give you a rating, and I'm going to explain to you why or why I do not like something. Um, I'm not just gonna just be like, "Oh, it was great," and then leave you on your merry way. Like, no, like I'm gonna tell you why it was great. I'm gonna tell you why it wasn't great. I'm gonna tell you what what I think about it compared to other stuff. Now, this just happens to be a Marvel movie. I believe I read correctly that this is the 36th movie or installment of Marvel. So we've come a long way, but we've been on a very slippery slope since Endgame. So where does this Thunderbolts movie kind of fall in line? That's what we're going to talk about. Before I get into that, I do want to talk about real quick Coogler. So this is relevant, yes, because Ryan Coogler made Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, and Black Panther 1. And those are two of his biggest movies. But as you can see from this poster, he's the first black director with 4 films to gross 100 million domestically. Creed and Black Panther are two IPs from basically, two giant franchises. But Sinners is his own original work. His own original work, his own original idea. Um, of course, he got Michael B. Jordan, like rocking with him, has been in all 4 of those movies. But Sinners is a big deal for him, especially on the whole like original tip front. So if you haven't seen Sinners, I highly recommend Sinners. Go check it out, see what you think, see if you get what you're looking for out of it. Is it just a vampire movie? No. Is there more to it? Absolutely. And see if you can enjoy for all of what it is. Like I said, I did a review, so go check that out. I also got clips up there on my shorts. If you want to check those out, some of them are going kind of viral, whatever that means. But it was definitely at least one of my favorite movies of 2025. And I've seen it twice on purpose because I wanted to. And if I have the chance to see it in IMAX, I will. I know that there's kind of like speculation that IMAX is already sold out for its second run after this Thunderbolts run. We'll see if I get to see it. If not, I'll probably buy the Blu-ray anyway, even though I don't really watch Blu-ray. Raj says, shout out to Ryan Coogler. The whole Sinners cast needed to be nominated and taking home awards. Now, look, I feel you on that. I am not the critic that has anything to do with awards. Maybe sometime in the future, maybe not. I don't know. I don't understand the whole Golden Globes and all of that stuff. I don't. That's never been in my wheelhouse. I don't understand it. I just know when stuff is nominated, it's a good thing. Even better when they win it. Um, but there are critics and reviewers that break that down and they'll slot it and be like, yo, this is gonna be nominated for this and cinematography and best actress and second director and all of that. I mean, that is something above my pay grade. But when movies get nominated for those awards, whether they win or not, it still looks good. Um, and it helps those actors and actresses that are in those projects. It helps them stand out better and get involved in other projects. So hopefully Ryan Coogler gets some type of award. Michael B. Jordan gets some award. Hopefully a couple of these other people that are in that movie get some awards. But at the end of the day, regardless of the awards, I think it's worth seeing. And I think it might be one of those black staples that people just watch when they just hanging out. Hell, I know it's gonna get crazy around Thanksgiving when all these black families get together and they looking for a movie to watch. Granted, this ain't gonna be on TV no time soon like that, but I mean it might be on like HBO or something. I'm sure it'll probably be on HBO, if anything, if not anything else. And then, one day find its way to be ET. So check that out. We're happy for Ryan Coogler. Even outside of this the Black Panther sphere, I'm glad that he got two other movies outside of Marvel that's under his belt and that we can appreciate. And like I said, according to not only these two, I think he got like Fruitville Station that I've seen. That is one of his like first movies or his first movie, especially like a critically acclaimed. So I'll do like a ranking of his movie sometime this month that I can definitely do. Because I think the other thing else coming out this month may be like Lilo and Stitch or something. So that's definitely something I can do this month. And if you've seen Sinners, let me know what you rated. Do you rate it a I have a letter system, A, B, C, or D. Some people do 1 out of 5. Some people do, best out of 10 stars. Whatever you rank it, let me know what you rank it in the comments below. And if you guys ever want to talk about it, hit me up and we could always talk about it. And we could always have like a rehash 30 days later rediscussion of it if y'all really want to. So Raj says 5 out of 10. Went back and rewatched it and turned it off and watched Mobland. So he is talking about Thunderbolts. Now, I actually did go back and rewatch this also. So I think I watched it on Friday and I rewatched it today. And I got to the point basically right when the climax is about to happen. And I paused it because I had to do some stuff. And I almost didn't unpause it. Even though like I was re-prepping for, the live and everything. I almost was just like, okay, I'm good. I got what I needed out of it. Some people are going to take this and run with it and be like, yo, Marvel is back. Or some people are going to be like, yo, this is straight fire. Or this is going to be like, oh, this is the best movie of 2025. Superman can't see it. You know, Fantastic Four can't see it. Marvel is back, baby, whatever, whatever. If you like it, cool. Just because you like it don't mean I love it. And that's just with all movies. I don't feel that way. And especially going rewatching Thunderbolts and being like, I still feel how I feel about that. Just like I rewatched Sinners. I watched it twice. The second time I went and bought a ticket and went to the movie theater and by myself and sat in the movie theater right in the middle, had the perfect seat, had the popcorn, had the candy, had the drink, all of that stuff. And I sat there and I still walked away feeling how I felt about it. It's just my experience was a little different because I was able to hear things a little bit better, see things a little bit more clearly. But what I felt about it is what I felt about it. With this, what I felt about it, then I went and did some research, watched some other people talk about it. Now I went back and rewatched it, and I still feel how I felt about it. No better, no worse. With that being said, I also went back and watched Black Widow, which, in case you don't know, you should probably watch Black Widow before you watch this movie. Because one, you're not going to understand who Yelena is. Even if you've seen Hawkeye, you still kind of need to watch Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow so you're going to understand not only who Yelena is, but who the Red Guardian is, the relationship to the family, and what the whole like Black Widow society is, how it's affecting like modern times, what the Red Room is, Taskmaster is. All of these things are from that. Now, it's crazy and unfortunate that we're getting this so far down the line from Black Widow, from Endgame, from Infinity War. Black Widow takes place right before Infinity War, right after Civil War. Even though it came out later after Endgame and we seen Black Widow die, spoiler alert, it was still like kind of late. And I feel like we haven't really had a Yelena project at this point since Hawkeye in a long time. So people may be familiar with her, maybe not. Maybe don't watch the shows. So I don't know. Do you even care? Do you know that Yelena is Black Widow? Do you think she's White Widow? Like, do you care? You know what I'm saying? That's where we at. My bad. Letter grade for Thunderbolts is most middle of the road C's. Okay. Now here's how I feel about the grades, and then I'll talk about the movie, and then I'll give my rating. A is a A, B is a B. You know, 80s is a B, C's or 70s. Anything below that, like if you're failing, is a D and below, straight up. If you're a D as a movie, I'm never really gonna rewatch you ever again, not on purpose. So I know there's some kind of like, so like C C C C C minus is like 65 to 70. A C is like 70 to 75, and a C plus is like 75 to 80, if that makes sense. I do pluses and minuses because in school you get pluses and minuses. But if I say something is an A, and then that's here, and then I say something is an A plus, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I know that on rankings like online, you can do like an A and then like do an S tier. Okay. I've never really gotten clarification what S stands for. Satisfactory, super, superb. Like I've never had a clear, it's never said this is what S stands for. So that's why I just say A plus. Like if you hear that a movie is A plus, like you got to go see it. Just like when we're talking about Sinners, I'm not gonna tell you what my rating is. I'm gonna let you go watch my live, go watch my clips. But it was up there, right? I don't think this is up there. There are movies that are in my mind that will forever be engraved in my mind, whether they are A, B, whatever, whatever. Batman, The Dark Knight is always going to be an A plus to me. I'm just never going to find enough of a flaw in that movie to ever drop it down. I didn't walk away from Thunderbolts and being like, yo, that's right up there with The Dark Knight. Not at all. And then, like I said, I rewatched the Black Widow movie, who, when it first came out, I was like, what is this? But now that I rewatch it, I understand what my issue was with that movie. Ross said, I tried to watch Black Widow and the writing plot was so weird. I gave up halfway through. Plus, I don't rock with Russia like that, respectively. Okay, now that's a good point because Yelena and Andre, or if you want to call them Red Guardian, are very Russian. And we got way more from the Russian aspect from them than we ever did of Scarlett Johansson playing Black Widow or Natasha Romanoff. One, because she didn't have the accent. Two, because she didn't have like a Russian look. You know what I mean? She didn't look like Ronda Rousey, like killing, like, you know what I mean? Like she just had like just a neutral kind of look and style, right? Her hair is like red, but we don't know if that's like dyed red or what. Like we don't, you know what I mean? It's not, her hair was never like a natural red. It looked like it was dyed dark red, right? So we always kind of got like a neutral kind of thing from her. She would be like, oh, I'm from Russia, but when you hear her talking, you didn't hear that accent. Just like when like people pointed out that with old girl Scarlet Witch, right? Her accent has changed throughout the movies, and then depending upon in the show who she talking to, she'll tack it on or tack it off, whatever. So these have been the most like non-American characters that we've had. I'm trying to think of like Baron Zemo, but I felt like between like what Civil War and Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show, I felt like his accent wasn't consistent. And I'm not harping on that. I'm just saying I feel like there was talk about like, oh, he has more of an accent now or something, yada, yada, yada. Whereas, right now, like Red Baron and Yelena have kept their accents throughout. Mind you, Florence Pugh is from the UK, so she does have a bit of an accent anyway. But a lot of the UK people, they'll throw their accent to be in like American movies. But again, it is very Russian. Like, you're going to a Russian prison. You know what I mean? You're fighting like Russian bad guys. The secret agents are Russian, this and that. I get it. If you're not heavy on that or you don't understand what people are saying, I get you could miss it. I think now that I rewatch Black Widow and I come back to it, I think the problem was we got Black Widow after Endgame, after Natasha sacrificed herself. And it was too late. She should have got that movie way before that. Even if we got it in Infinity War. That's probably when we should have got it. If they didn't give it to us before Infinity War, they should have gave it to us in between Infinity War and Endgame. That way, when she sacrificed in Endgame, we would have felt way more about it. And then Yelena coming through wouldn't have felt like, who the hell is this? Now she's like one of the main characters, I guess, now going forward in the MCU, and it's up to you to decide if you like her or care about her or not, right? Like if she died in the first 5 minutes of Thunderbolts, would you care? Now, last point I'm gonna make about that, because it was something that I wrote down. Black Widow, the reason why that ended up happening is because Marvel promised that movie to Scarlett Johansson. When you watch the movie, it seems like it's not only Scarlett Johansson's movie, but it's also Florence Pugh's movie. And not only does it feel like it's a shared movie, it feels like they're pushing Scarlett Johansson out and replacing her with Florence Pugh. So, my question is, and I'll put it in the chat, do you feel like Scarlett Johansson got the shorter end of the stick with the Black Widow movie, including Thunderbolts? Why? Because this is mainly a Black Widow Yelena movie. After you finish talking about Thunderbolts, I have questions about Baron Zemo. Okay. Well, you can write it now so I don't forget about it. Like, are your questions specifically towards Black Panther, or is it just about him as a character in general? I'm going to type this question while you ask me that. Him in general. So, I mean, again, I didn't read the comics or nothing. So, I basically what happens is his family got killed in a crossfire from Civil War. No. From the first Captain? No. From the second Captain America movie? The second Captain America movie before Civil War. His family got caught in a crossfire because I think like there was like destruction. So basically he was like, oh, I'm gonna destroy the Avengers from the inside because my family died because they're the ones that killed them, or because as a result of what they did. Why does the comic book Zemo seem way better than the movie Zemo? I'm not a comic book reader, but those who read the comics seem to love the character. Why is not giving Zemo room to cook? Because I think they limited him. I think his purpose was to be a villain and destroy, and try to destroy the Avengers from the inside because he had a reason to. After that, he kind of was just like a like a joke when Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But as I was doing research for Thunderbolts, it seems like Zemo is way more involved in the Thunderbolts than they're letting him be in the movie. Like I think he's like led a couple of the different like the different teams, or had like direct like involvement with them, stuff like that. He's a baron, so he's rich. You know what I mean? I think they kind of put like a leash on most of their characters, which I think like in the comics they could kind of come and go as they please and just kind of pop up on people. Whereas on this, it's like they'll use the character for like one purpose and then that's it. And speaking of that, I'm gonna talk about Taskmaster, especially since we're transitioning from the Black Widow movie to this movie. So Taskmaster, there are different iterations of a Taskmaster kind of character in both DC and Marvel. And the gist of that character is that character can basically look at what that person is doing and copying their moves, and next thing you know, like, they can't defeat them because they can anticipate everything that they're doing. So the problem with this Taskmaster in the Black Widow movie is everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's a girl!" Yada yada yada. It didn't like why they tried to force it. Yada yada yada. Now that I went back and I watched Black Widow, the importance of that period of that character was Natasha killed a kid trying to get to the leader of the Black Widows, and in doing so, she blew up a building, and everyone in the building burned to death. It ended up being that the kid that she targeted was the child or the daughter of the person that she was trying to take out, which he did not die, and neither did she. She was haunted by the fact that she thought that she killed this kid innocently, trying to get to somebody else, and it haunted her whole life. And then she had to come face to face with that person, a grown up child, when she realized, like, oh snap, that person isn't dead. So Taskmaster is marketed to be in this movie with the rest of the Thunderbolts. Hold on, I'm just sending out these links. 1 second. But like I said, the Thunderbolts really could be any group of villains that are trying to turn over a new leaf, but they also, in the comics, from what I understand, have also just been like used as villains, as muscle and body and this and that. And Zemo is very integrated in that situation. So let's see. When I'm talking about, okay, so talk about. Okay, so this is Yelena and Natasha. And what you need to understand is that they're not blood sisters. But Yelena is younger than Natasha. Natasha had already been through the Red Room, got cycled out, got put on a mission. Her mission was to be Yelena's older sister. Yelena was put on the mission when she was 3, so she was raised in America thinking like, I'm American, my family's American, everyone is who they say who they are, and everything is what they say that they are. What she didn't realize is everybody but her knew what the truth was. They were not family, they were not related. And she, even at the end, or even when the mission went left and the family kind of split up, right, or broke up or whatever, she really thought that that was her family the whole time, like the rest of her life going forward. She didn't realize that it was fake until like this movie. She ran into Natasha and all of this stuff. So this is where because I mean, we have been with, Scarlo or Scarjo playing Natasha for so long, but we didn't have, that much information about her, who her past was. We just knew she was a Black Widow and that she grew up in the Red Room, but we didn't understand this whole thing about like the family. So this Andre, I don't know how to say his last name, but he's The Red Guardian. The Red Guardian is a person who took the super soldier serum, the Russian version of it, and basically became Russia's Captain America. The dude that is in charge of all of them, the Russian spies, the Black Widows, the Red Guardian, I forgot that dude's name, but he basically like put the Red Guardian in jail for like 20 some years right after the mission. And he was like, "What you do that for?" So he has like this, like, he's jealous of Bucky, because he was like this idol, and working for Hydra and this and that. He has admiration for Captain America because Captain America also had the super soldier serum, like him and Bucky. But he was like praised as like the American hero and like their franchise player, and that's what he always wanted to be. But that didn't become of him because he got put in a jail. So I can understand why all of this could be confusing, especially if you've never seen these movies. You have these two characters, and then you got Yelena calling Andre, dad, and you like, why is she going back and forth from calling him dad to his first name? Because if you're watching the Black Widow movie, she comes to realize that wasn't her dad. And even though she hadn't seen him for like 20 some years, it was hard for her to come to grips with that not being her real family. Now, the other thing is, so in this movie, Yelena goes to her dad, and it's like, yo, I haven't heard from you in like a year. My sister died. I feel so alone. The gist of that is basically everyone knew that Natasha got out of being a Black Widow and this and that, but she never came back for anybody. So Yelena always had this grudge against her, like, you just left me. But also she was kind of under like a spell, not a spell, but like a serum and all of this stuff. So, what she knew fully and what she didn't know, whatever. But she was aware that her sister was an Avenger, that she got out of being a Black Widow, but didn't come for her. But she didn't care until after that kind of like spell was broken. But that's when this movie takes place. I say all of that to say, watch Black Widow before you watch this movie, I think. Because more than anything, you have to understand who Yelena is and understand her and Andre's relationship, or Dimitri. It might be Dimitri. It might not be Andre. It might be Dimitri. But their relationship and why she kind of acts the way she acts. Because 100% she's like the little sister. So she's always like, like hitting certain jabs and stuff. And, she gets jealous of certain things. But I mean, she's also emo as hell. And she's been emo like the whole time, like since the Black Widow movie. So, oops. Hasn't been on that whole time. Have you how you have super serum powers and willing to go to jail? Okay, well, do you remember that there was a conversation that Bucky and Dimitri had in the car, and Dimitri was like, tell me like how much super serum you had, or what version of you had it, yada yada yada. So they had there's different tiers, I want to say, of the super soldier serum, which when you think back, the whole idea of Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show was about the super serum, about people taking whatever version of it they had. And then the dude that plays US Agent, he took it, right? Who's in the movie. And then, then you got Dimitri has it, Bucky has it. And it's like this whole thing that's always been like a thing, like an issue, throughout basically all of the MCUs. who's taking the soldier serum and what kind of dosage are they getting. And remember, if you think back to the first Captain America movie, they were the Hydra or the Russians, Helen both were really trying to get the serum, right? So that's been like a thread throughout. Why was he willing to go to jail? I mean, I think he's strong enough to like fight people, but he wasn't strong enough to break out of jail. If you watch the Black Widow movie, Yelena and Natasha break him out of jail. Um, but then you fast forward, and now you got dude who who had the super soldier serum injected into him, and now you can kind of see like how OP he is, how overpowered he is. So you got these different iterations of the super soldier serum, and and then you got the question of, well, why the hell won't Sam take it? So I can say at least they're being consistent with that. That is one thread that they've had this whole time. Because you don't see people trying to be out here trying to take Hulk's gamma radiation, right? But they're always trying to get this super soldier serum. So at least that's been kind of like a consistent thing. So also, because we're talking about Black Widow movie, one of the co-writers from Black Widow co-wrote this movie too. And I guess some people are happy because they're like, oh, that's why this movie is like the characters are so well written and cohesive and all of this stuff. So we're going to speak about the characters. Obviously, first we got to talk about Yelena, because she's the thread that kind of ties everything together, including the MCU now, because we only have but so many characters. Also, if you didn't know, Yelena was also in that Hawkeye TV show. And the gist of that is she was basically trying to kill Clint because she thought Clint killed Natasha, even though Natasha sacrificed herself. How they got that information, I have no idea. It was Val, right, that was misleading that information and who sent Yelena after Clint. But how she even got that information, how they even figured out that Natasha died on the mission, I don't know. Because remember, right after Endgame, it was Tony's funeral. So I don't know how that even happened. But that's what happened. At the end of the Black Widow movie, there's a post-end credit scene where Yelena is at Natasha's grave, and Val comes and she's like, do you want to go after the guy that killed your sister? She was like, cool. And then she showed him a picture of Clint. So, what's important to know about Yelena, besides the whole, she was a child from the Black Widow in the program, trained assassin. Her assassination skills are supposed to be better than Natasha's, like better marksmanship and all of that stuff. Something else you need to kind of you got to know is she's emo. And why do I say that? Because she's been talking about dying since the Black Widow movie. Throughout the whole movie, she's like, oh, this would be a good way to die. That won't be a good way to die. That's no fun way to die. Yada, yada, yada. But it was less kind of like, it was there, but it was like less of an issue because like she would just find herself in like these like situations where she might die. Like, oh, she's fallen out of a plane without a parachute. And then she would say something like that. But I guess in retrospect, at least she had an idea that her sister was out there somewhere doing something. Her family was out there, maybe somewhere. In this movie, in the Thunderbolts, she doesn't feel like she has a family. She feels like her sister's dead. Her dad doesn't reach out to her, doesn't give her a time of day. Don't know what happened to the mom figure. Um, So now it's very like amped up, like suicidal. I don't have a purpose, yada yada yada, which is a little bit dark for a movie like this. Now, like I said, Black Widow was kind of like not overall like supported and all of that stuff. So it wasn't like a main movie that you had to go see, where Thunderbolt seems like a major movie that you have to go see. So the fact that this is kind of so prevalent in this big of a movie is interesting. She's going through the movie still torn up about Natasha, her family in general, and yet she's still the emotional anchor for the rest of the team. So some people are going to like that she has dry humor. Some people are going to appreciate that. Some people are going to appreciate her kind of sarcastic kind of optimism. And I don't think you're, I don't think she is ever trying to be like who Natasha was. She is her own character for sure, and she is the emotional anchor for this movie and for the team. So if you don't like her, you're probably not going to like this movie, period. If you have not liked her in anything else, you're probably not going to like her or this movie, because she is what ties the movie together. Something just to keep in mind. And like I said, if you want to know more about who Yelena is before you go watch this, go watch the Black Widow movie. Go watch the Hawkeye series. Then you got Bob. Now, there's a couple iterations of Bob, and this is super spoiler. So, if you've been here this far, and I appreciate you. If you haven't seen it, if you don't want to know spoilers, you don't want to watch it from here on in, because I'm just going to talk about it. There's people that already know about the comics and all of that stuff. Cool. I'm gonna talk about this in detail. So, like I said, hit stop, print, go take this, go get your movie ticket, go watch the movie. If you've liked everything you heard up so far, if you want to know more, we're gonna get into spoilers. So sorry, not sorry, I warned you. So this is Bob. I'm gonna talk about Bob from the comics a little bit, from what I was able to get. And then we'll talk about Century, and then we'll talk about the Void. Okay, so essentially, from what I understand, this character Century was like a recreation of like an old character from like way back in the day, but then they kind of like retconned him and like made him like some type of like direct kind of, I don't want to say antithesis, but you know, like the Marvel's version of Superman, but then they made him like super OP. Okay. So in the comics, Bob, who he's called in this movie, is called Robert Reynolds, like you see on the picture. And in the comics, he's an overweight, middle aged drug addict who breaks into a lab and basically injects himself with a serum. Now, is it a super soldier serum? Is it some type of alien entity? The jury's still out on that. It's kind of like not been set in concrete. But for the purpose of this movie, from what we understand, it's just the soldier serum. Why is he OP, way more OP than Steve Rogers, even though Steve had the injections in him and he was in the whole like vessel? We don't know, because we don't know what was in it. All we know is that they put this out in Malaysia is where he got this serum from in the movie. So in the movie, he survived Val's destruction room, or the destruction in general, with all the other evidence, right? He was found in the incinerator room when everybody else showed up, and he barely remembers anything. Now, pause. The reason why that's kind of interesting is because in the comics, apparently, anytime anytime he's able to stop the void, he kind of wipes everyone's memory of even knowing who Sentry or the Void was, and his memory is also wiped, and then he's like a clean slate. But he's in the kind of incinerator room. He doesn't fully know or say how he got in there. He may not fully know, but then at the end of the movie, he didn't really remember anything either. So now, like, I wonder if there's like a cycle to this, how it is in the comics. I don't know. But he definitely has some mental health issues. And he says that, or Val says that he is like his mom in that. His mom has some mental health issues. He was abused by his dad. So he has an addiction problem. And he was kind of just wandering through Malaysia trying to find drugs or whatever will get him. He has a juvenile record. For whatever reason, he's curiously tactical, which again makes me wonder if he's been through this cycle before of having these powers and getting his mind wiped. And there's a scene in there where he sacrifices himself. So up until they got there through the incinerator, everything like that, Bob runs out the truck or whatever you want to call it, and he comes out with the gun, right? And he gets all the attention of soldiers, and all the soldiers have like a firing squad on them. Would you have cared? And that's like a real. Would you have cared if Sentry or Bob, the character Bob, like forget Sentry, forget the Void, would you have cared if Bob had died in that moment up until that point? Would the character of Bob have mattered to you up until that point? I want to know your answer. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Would Bob have mattered if he would have died when he went to go sacrifice himself? The reason why I'm saying that is because the character of Bob is, from what we see, a different character than Sentry. When we get to Sentry, let's talk about his powers, and then we'll talk about him in the movie. Could be referred to as the Golden Guardian of Good. In the comics, he can fly across the galaxy in seconds. He has the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. He's been known to carry a celestial. He has taken on World War Hulk punches. He survived nuclear blast. He has instant healing. And in the movie, he can change matter instantly. I think he can also do that in the comics. But he's been shown in this movie to develop like this godlike delusion of superiority. So I feel like, again, and I'm not saying how it is in the comic, but I'm saying in this it's almost as if like Sentry is like an alternative personality to Bob. And I'm not saying that that's what they were going for, but the way that he kind of like has this like lack of memory after this happens just makes me feel like Sentry is like not an alter ego, but like a split personality. The reason why I say that is because there's a show that was on FX called Legion. And if you don't know who Legion is, basically he's Charles Xavier's son. He has all of these different personalities, and each of his personalities has a different power. And he is fighting to get that all under control. I really like the show. I really like the character Legion. But I'm curious to know, like, if they're trying to go with this like this. Like, oh, okay, now he's Sentry, now he remembers. Oh, no, he's back to Bob now. He doesn't know what's going on. But curiously enough, he didn't remember what happened with the Sentry and the Void, but he was able to remember like who, the Yelena was and the team was and this and that. So again, he'll obviously be in more movies. We'll see what he does later on down the line with Doctor Doom, maybe with the Fantastic Four, all of that stuff. But then you got the Void, and the Void just seems like a completely different like character um, that will even consume himself. Um, so interesting enough, Yelena and Bob talk about the Void in the beginning of the movie. From this, now in the comics, we know that he's literally like OP, like could barely stop him. In this, he's like super OP to the point where the shocker that Val had wouldn't work on him. So it's kind of like, are they going to have a kill switch for him or not? Now, I guess in the comics, I think it's Emma Frost who can like use her psychic abilities to kind of just like take him out of it, kind of like how Mantis was trying to do to Thanos, but like way more successful. But I don't know if that's enough. He is dark and destructive. He represents Bob's negative emotions and his repressed fears. And then, if you've ever seen the YouTube channel Comics Explained, if you haven't, go check it out. But this one specifically, Rob, who is the person that runs that channel, he theorized that the only way to stop the Void is to go into the mind of Sentry and reason with him. So, like, you can't go fight him. You can't, like, go up to Void and just give him a hug. But if you go in his mind and give him a hug, then you'll make him feel better. Raj says, Bob Sentry was so cookie cutter as a character that I never felt like the Thunderbolts were saving anyone or anything. And I agree with that. I agree with that, right? It is cookie cutter, right? And it's interesting because as I was watching this, I was thinking about the Fantastic Beasts movie, right? And there's a character in that movie of like the whole series of Credence, Barebone, right? And he's like this emo kid who was abused and was raised in like a foster home and got abused there and this and that, and then he became like super powerful, and then they wanted to like use the power of his darkness to like consume the world. And I feel like that's exactly what this is. I felt like we didn't get any nuance from it. It was just so like cookie cutter. Now, again, this is a comic book character, right? Like this isn't somebody that they just made up for this movie, whatever. But it just feels so like y'all can do nothing. Like that was it. And then the whole Sentry thing, like, you know what it is? It's almost as if, and I know they've said this like for the comics, like Void and Sentry were acting like around the same time in doing stuff, and no one knew that Sentry and the Void were the same person. So I almost wish, and I almost wish that would have made the stakes even higher. Like, yo, we have to stop this Void person that only comes out at 6 o'clock, every night, and he's out there for an hour and then he leaves or something, and then we like run into Bob or something, and then like, and Bob's like this disheveled whatever or something, and then like Sentry is like the person that shows up in the day. I don't know, like some type of like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing, something. It was just very basic, and for that to be the third act just seemed or underwhelming. And that, like, to my point, how do you go from that and now so when the Void is gone, how do you, and then you need Sentry to come out and help you, how do you deal with somebody that has a godlike ideology, right? Because that fight scene with Sentry, he was destroying them, but he also turned on Val like, I'm a god. Why do I have to listen to anything you say? So you're gonna have to go in his head and like turn the switch off for both characters. Can you even do that in Sentry, or can you only do that in Void? I just have so many questions. So I get it. Some people are like, yo, this is my favorite. Um, this is some people's favorite character. Some people are just like, oh my god, like we're here now. We're getting these big mega omega level characters. I get it. And if you're happy, I'm happy that you're happy. But the writing of this, and it's not like you couldn't see it coming. And I'm not saying that it had to. I'm not sad. I'm not saying that it had to have a twist. Um, but something about it was just too simple. And I feel like we never got the high stakes. Now I'm not gonna lie. When people started like disappearing off the street, and when Guardian like saved that little girl and then she disappeared, oh, I lost it. That was fire. That was fire. But other than that, I'm like, okay, but then it was like the thing ain't even spreading that fast. It's not like it just like took over like the whole city. Like, you know what I mean? Like it never became this threat, level outside of this main block of this street. And then Val had the whole like press behind the curtain. Like ain't nobody see this thing up in the sky while they were driving there, while they were parking. I'm not even gonna put it past Val that she was able to organize that quick. I'm just saying, ain't nobody seen this black dot flying above the sky. I don't know. Now, in the beginning, Bob was a little creepy, and I mean, I think that was written like on purpose. You're like, oh my god, like what's he gonna do? What does he know? Is he faking it? Yada yada yada. But I was like I was almost hoping that he was lying. That old classic, like, oh, I don't know what happened. I don't know how I got here, but I really do. You know what I mean? Like he would have been a hell of a vampire in Sinners. But this, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I get it. And this is supposed to be like an emotional thing, and you gotta conquer your emotions, and you can't just stop fight. I mean, you can't just fight your way through everything. I get it. I really do. But I don't know if we got enough. I don't know. You know really what it is? I almost feel like this should be like a Disney show or Disney Plus TV show, and then maybe we would get a little bit more, right? They would have time to organically like have a relationship. So then like again, you would care if Bob went out and sacrificed himself. And then you can go like an episode without like knowing that he's alive. You know what I mean? And then they go to stop Val, and then they walk up to Sentry, and Sentry doesn't remember them. I almost feel like he shouldn't remember anything from each like personality. Now that would be scary. Or like or if the Void was like the main person, and then like Bob and like Sentry were like the alternative personalities for that. I know it's probably not comic accurate. I get it, but I don't know. I just would have just delivered this a little bit differently. Now I'll talk about Val, and then I'll talk about the movie itself. So in the movie, we see that I'm only gonna say her name once. Valentina Allegra D. Fontaine. She made it a point to say the D. Okay. We understand Valentina likes the D. Okay. So she's running her own super soldier program. She also has global spies that she's now trying to clean up all over the world. She desires to have the ultimate weapon that will protect her. We see a bit of her backstory, with dealing with her dad getting killed in front of her. Somehow she was able to emigrate into, the United States and become a director of CIA. Cool. Because before, when we were seeing her in like the other TV shows and movies at the end of Stingers, like we understood what her name was, but we didn't understand what her role was. And I almost wish that to tie the Thunderbolts movie back to the uh, Captain America Brave New World movie, I feel like they should have said that Ross is the one that appointed her as the CIA director. Because she made it a point to complain about dude turning red, but she could have been like, I mean, I got to do something out here. You got the president's turning into Red Hulks, and the other congressman up on the board could have been like, well, you got appointed by him, right? Something, whatever. And then Raj, I know Wendell is your boy. I forgot his last name. I know that's your boy, but people are making a bigger deal out of him being in this movie. Wendell Pierce. People are making a bigger deal about him being in this movie than it really is. He was in like 2 scenes. Like it wasn't like this ain't The Wire. Like it's not that serious. Like it was okay. He played his part, but it ain't like he was like, read the package, Bucky, read the package. That's it. So if you're gonna clip that and meme that, cool. But that's all you really getting out of him. All right. And I know you want to drop the meme and go ahead if you feel the necessary need to. But my thing is with Val is that she couldn't stop the Thunderbolts. She can't stop Sentry, and she for sure can't control the Void. Now, what she can do is she can spin the narrative, and that's what she's good at. And I mean, is that good as far as is that skill set being good for being a CIA director? I guess. But I mean, hell, I mean, she worked at like the Daily Planet or something. She'd be a hell of a reporter, in my opinion. Now, one thing that she did say that stood out to me is a quote. She said, righteousness without power is just an opinion. Righteousness without power is just an opinion. And I think that was beautiful writing. Now, I feel like that was the way it was cut was almost like a throwaway line. But I mean, that's real writing right there. Righteousness without power is just an opinion. And that's like everybody, including myself, on YouTube arguing about some thing that we can't change a daggone thing about. So I thought that was a tough line. But that's probably the only thing that I'm gonna remember from her. Now again, if she died at the end, would you even care? Like she was supposed to be like the villain or like villainous, but like it was underserved. Cause usually like you got a villain, right? Usually you got like a real villain, and then like they come up with like a super soldier, and then that super soldier goes crazy. Or you got somebody like Emperor Palpatine, and then Anakin like just goes left with it, and you like, yo, I can't even stop, dude. But I never really felt like we got there with the tension with the stakes. Okay, like if she got kicked out of being the CIA director or not, what consequences would that have had on the rest of the world? Okay, she's trying to. First of all, she was only trying to kill like 3 people. She was trying to kill Walker. She's trying to kill uh, Black Widow, Yelena, and she was trying to kill um, Ava Star, right? The Whisperer. Because Taskmaster got killed. Cool. But I mean, she was a Black Widow regardless, so didn't really matter. And with these three people, it doesn't. If Walker died, I wouldn't care, bro. Do you care? If Walker died, I would not care. He's not redeemable to me. Don't care. If Whisper died, would you care that she's not in the next Ant-Man 4 movie? No. I guess maybe Lawrence Fishburne was supposed to be in it because that was her dad. I didn't hear him in the movie unless he was like a dubbed over or something. And Yelena's teetering on suicide so much. If she died, don't care. Wendell Pierce just collecting a check. Don't put this movie on his jacket. I'm just saying he damn near on the poster. But shit. Anyway, I never felt like the stakes were high enough. I never felt like the villain was sinister enough. Because it was just all done on a not like this all happened on a Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like it was just didn't affect nothing. The only thing that was like a big deal was the Void, and he was only in the movie for 30 seconds because they hugged it out. They hugged it out. Now, yes, me along with everybody else, if I had like a BetterHelp ad or something, insert here, cool. But yes, go talk to somebody about your feelings, about your shortcomings, all of that stuff. I'm an advocate for all of that. Yes. But if you're waiting on a group of secret spies to come and give you a hug to help you feel better, you may be too far gone. Ross says, I can't remember what reaction Pod said that Julia Louis-Dreyfus is not a movie actor and is a TV show actor. Still a legend. Loved her in Veep, but the big screen ain't her lane. All right. I'm glad you brought that up because now we can talk about the movie. The first thing I'm going to say is that this movie reminded me so much of Suicide Squad. And it doesn't matter, the first one or the second one. I don't care if you want to call it the Suicide Squad 2, but especially the first one. But the thing about Val is not Amanda Waller. And I know like that's what they were like cookie cutter trying to like make her be. She doesn't have it, bro. And I'm not one, that character is not set up to be like Amanda Waller. And two, Julia don't have it like Auntie. Now, for whatever reason, I'm laying out. What is it? Scandal. Not Scandal. How to Get Away with Murder. Viola Davis. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And listen, I love Julia. JLD. Let's call it JLD. I love JLD from Seinfeld, from Veep, and she has a certain like range. But Amanda Waller ain't it. She never felt intimidating. She never felt threatening. Um, could she, talk her way into a room? Yeah. But can she be that menacing person that you don't know what she got planned, what she got up her sleeve? And to be honest, her assistant Mel was doing so much of the heavy lifting. I don't know, like her whole plan could have went left because of Mel, because she let something slide. So I don't know. Again, I'm never gonna put JLD down, but this character isn't that. And I feel like this is just a cookie cutter version of Suicide Squad without the level of like, yo, if we mess up, we're gonna die. I never felt like if they left out in that truck and never, I guess Bucky came and got them. Okay, Bucky came and got them. But I never felt like the stakes were high. At least in Suicide Squad, like people died. Like you were like, oh yeah, that person done. That person's gone. Right? Like none of these characters had that, held over them. And like even if they had like Taskmaster hunting them the whole time, maybe that would have felt like stakes were higher. But she kept being like, oh yeah, okay, we gotta shoot to kill, and like we never found people looking for them. Like when they were out, when they left that facility, no one came looking for them. But Bucky got them and then brought them back. But they weren't being hunted. I know they said it, but they never showed that. Okay, so now the humor. I personally like the Deadpool humor. I like Deadpool humor. This wasn't funny. I watched this movie twice. I didn't laugh, not at all. Black Widow, I chuckled at certain moments when like it was like meant for a chuckle. Like not even the whole like them making fun of Johnny Walker, um, U.S. agent, not Dimitri being all ecstatic and emotional, and none of that. Not the dry humor. Nothing was funny about this movie. Them going in the elevator, nothing. Now, the action was cool. The two action scenes. The best one was them getting beat up. Okay, I guess three, because I guess you could count like the desert scene where Bucky kind of saved them. I guess Terminator. But the best scene was Sentry just like not flinching, and they trying to do everything that they could, everything they had in their bag. Um, so it wasn't funny to me. The action was pretty cool. Um, the subplots didn't do anything for me. It was whatever. Sentry was cool. He was cool. Unfortunately, he didn't really go up against anybody that could really like do something with him. Like if he was fighting Hulk and then getting chipped up and then was like, all right, Hulk, sit down, that would have been dope. But like he was OP. Like he was too OP. And I thought this would be a lot more entertaining, and it wasn't. Now, if you would have had Bucky on a motorcycle and he drive past everybody and he's like, pull over. And they're like, what do you mean pull up? Pull up. Like, nah, you don't see these people changing us. Pull up. I'll be back. And then he drops back and then he takes out the tank. And then he's like trying to tell them to pull over and they don't. So then he pulls over and then he shoots the car and then he stops the car. That's $1 million joke right there. That's $1 million joke right there. I'll be back. But it wasn't as funny as they made it seem. Then when I think about like cool elevator scenes, Avengers got cool elevator scenes. They got dope elevator scenes. And then or it could have been cool like the Ninja Turtles ones where they were like beatboxing. You know what I mean? On the what something. I didn't get no cool, no swagger from this. Um there was that cool one hallway scene with Yelena in the beginning that was like what Daredevil was supposed to be that we never got. Um, they could have easily had like either Daredevil or Peter Parker or Mary Jane, or not Mary Jane but MJ, from, or what's the dude's name, the best friend, uh Peter's best friend, or the other dude that was in school with them. Somebody in New York could have just walked by and been like, "Yo, what's that?" And you be like, "Yo, that's the dude from another movie." Didn't get none of that. Um, then there's this whole thing about like, Val buying Stark Tower and then calling it the Watchtower. If y'all go back to my Kang theory with the whole winter, uh, what is it, Captain American Brave New World movie, I had a whole like Kang theory and how Kang should have brought like the tower and all of that. If you haven't heard that, go check that out. That was pretty dope. But now we know like, Val bought the tower. I guess are they so is that they're keeping that in like the Avenger like family now, I guess. I don't know. Um, this thing about OXC, who I thought when they kept saying it the first time I watched it, I thought it was they were trying to say Oscorp, right? And I was like, oh, they dropping, Dr. Ox, um, Dr. Ock in the MCU, but they didn't go through with it. The sarcasm in the movie reminded me of when officers had to mingle with enlisted at General Assembly and they started making jokes to pass the time and thought we liked them or their jokes. Facts. Like kind of like cocktail conversation. Cocktail conversation. Yeah, there's just nothing memorable. Nothing funny, nothing just you know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. I was trying to. You can't just do this to like Oh, I thought I could like put a like up on the comment, but I guess I can't. All right. Anyway, uh, okay. I have a question. I have a question. Is Bob under the impression that him and Yelena are on some type of brother and sister tip, or do you think he likes her? Like like when you got that kind of like person that'll like take down a whole school, but he like one of the cheerleaders because they studied together one time, and then he gets it in his head like the cheerleader likes him. Was it like that, or do you think like they're coming out of that in like a brother sister, or do you think she just kind of led him on? Because I don't know, man. I watched it twice and I was like, that a dude with mental problems like that could easily take that the wrong way. And she don't look like she's trying to settle down with nobody, let alone some dude that could make her blip. She already been through that. So yeah, my question was, did Yelena friend zone Century? And then we got the hug to save humanity. Now, like I said, if you go check out Rob from Comics Explained, he kind of broke that whole thing down, but there's not much you could do to stop the void, stop Century. Um, like I said, Emma Frost, like if you get, I don't know, maybe even Xavier might be able to get into his head if somebody can like telepathically get into his head and then go talk to Bob inside the head, calm him down. That might be one way. I've heard that if you like rip him in half, I guess that kind of works too. I don't know if he could like affect his molecules and put himself together. I don't know. Um, or you could just hug him, whatever works. And I had that feeling, the hug scene. I just had that feeling of like when Natasha would go to Hulk and be like, "All right, big fella, sun's getting real low." I just felt like Yelena should have been like, "All right, Bob," or "Void of sadness, the sun is getting real low." And then he'd be like, like that. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so two things. One, the other thing that kind of that did not work for me in this movie is that all the characters were the same, very similar, to the point where even Yelena said that, "Oh, all we do is punch and shoot," and I felt like, yeah, punch, shoot, and kill. They're all just carbon copies of each other. Now, granted, like three of them got the super soldier serum. Ghost could like walk through walls, but they're all pretty much just the same character. Hell, like I feel like if I was even watching like just a Black Widow movie, like just all the Black Widows, or like a group of or a team of Black Widows, I just feel like all of them would have their own kind of like skill sets, and I feel like all of these people are just doing the same thing, except for Yelena is the emotional grounded one, and Bucky is the emotionally mature one. That's it. And then is US Agent redeemable? Now again, he was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show, and he literally like killed a guy on the street. Definitely dude out of his mind, off his meds, may got some PTSD stuff going on. And I mean he threw my man up against the wall uh in this movie. And I feel like I don't know if they really reined dude in. Now, granted, his best friend they get killed, but um, I feel like he's a loose cannon too. But I feel like the difference between him being redeemable and Bucky being redeemable is he had Captain America. He got blamed for something he didn't do. They proved that he didn't do it. He kind of worked with the Avengers and helped save the world. So he got brought into this to be redeemed. Um, and he's American. Well, I don't want to say it like that. But U.S. Agent, he was supposed to be Captain America, and then he messed up. So I feel like if I was like in that MCU and I seen that John Walker was Captain America, and then he went on television and killed somebody on the news, and then was back as an Avenger, I would have questions. Like seriously, like what's happening? Is he Captain America now again? He has a shield. Is he U.S. agent? What's going on? Uh, I just have so many questions. Now is he gonna get his family back? His family ain't even messing with him. I don't know. I don't know. I just got questions. So apparently Stephen Wen, I think it's Wen, or is it Stephen Yoon? It might be Stephen Yoon, the person that plays Invincible, was the original person that was supposed to play Century. If you don't know who that is, Now he was at one of the Thunderbolts premieres, but that's originally who was supposed to play um, Rob or Bob and play Century, which I think would have been pretty cool, seeing as how he plays Invincible in the TV show, in the cartoon. That would have been dope. But we got Louis Pullman. I think he's an up and coming actor. I know he was in Top Gun Maverick, so it's all good. It's all good. But I just wanted to point that out, just in case you've heard that before, or maybe have not heard that. So my overall thoughts on Bob Century in the Void is just, I think he's just too OP. And I don't know where you take this character from, like where you take this character now. I think this was a Yelena movie. This was an introduction to Bob and the Void. And I feel like a lot of characters that didn't matter got put into it. And I feel like that leaves a lot of questions to who Bob is and where we go next. I get it, they're the Avengers. I get it, the post credit scene, Fantastic Four is coming. But I mean, are they the right ambassadors for anybody coming from anywhere? Like these people? I don't know. I just are these the people that you want coming up to Reed Richards and being like, "Hey, where are you from?" Or, the Thing. Like, what is he, an alien? You know what I mean? Or Johnny Storm or whatever. Now you can kind of put in the comments if you know if any of them got any type of relationship or anything with any of them. But I don't know. I feel like there's still like a level of like there's a level in between who they are going talking to Fantastic Four, or is the Fantastic Four going to come over and like now be the celebrity, people for celebrities of their Earth? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but overall, um, Century, Bob, Void is too OP. I think that they should have kept the name Thunderbolts. I don't think that they should have been called the Avengers. Uh, and I mean, if they're gonna make this into something where like going forward, they're gonna have to fight. They're gonna have to fight for the Avengers name, like with Sam and whoever he wants to put on the team. I don't know. That's not him. You put a pic of Shang-Chi. Huh? Oh, wait, did I? Did I get that? Yo, Cuzzo, you right. Yo, thanks for calling me out on that. Cause I'm like, yo, that's messed up that they put him in the daggone premiere thing and then he got kicked out of the movie. Wow, that's crazy. Hold on, let me fix this. No, all Asians don't look alike. I'm sorry. It was just the smooth skin in the premiere pictures. I just got confused. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can find him as. I'm gonna just do it like this. Did you feel like the new Avengers reveal was a big deal? My first thought was, can't the reporter hear the Thunderbolts telling Valentina they know she tried to kill them though through the tarp? Right. All right. So this is Steven. Is it when? But this is he was supposed to play Bob, and also I think the whole like Malaysia thing. I think that's where that came from. Um, so they easily could have like taken that character out and plugged um, the other actor in. But I think that's why the whole Malaysia thing was important, if I'm not mistaken. Um, did I feel like the new Avengers reveal was a big deal? Are you talking about specifically like in the movie universe? Like they're like, hey, this is the new Avengers. Or are you talking about like to us, the fans, like, oh, these are the new Avengers, so should we care? But also to answer, um, I watching it the second time, there was a point where Valentina saw like them as a group and saw them like trying to like save people on the ground and was like had an idea, like a look of idea, knowing that the reporters were coming. So it was very obvious that she was pivoting from the storyline because the original one wasn't gonna work, and she knows that her superpower is to spin stuff. I think that all makes sense. To your point, shouldn't the reporters have heard all of that stuff? 100%. And do we as the fans care? I think, I mean, I care to the point, like I care enough to be like if this was like the Justice League, would I want this to be like the main people of the Justice League? Absolutely not. Could this be Justice League Unlimited where other people like run this? Absolutely. If they were teenagers or younger people and they called themselves the Young Avengers, cool. Or if they decided to call themselves the Re-Avengers, maybe. But I don't think that they should be the Avengers, but I think we don't have Avengers. And I think as a people, we as fans, we know that and feel that. And I think there's a lack of like caring for the MCU because there are no Avengers right now. So I think they're there to fill the void, no pun intended. But also, if they went into Doomsday and all got killed off, would I care? Wouldn't care. I don't care about none of these people, and that was my whole point. Like, I just don't care. So I'm not walking away like, yo, yo, no, like I really don't care. And which is crazy because it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, was its own standalone thing, but also like they weren't trying to be the Avengers. So, but everything felt high stakes for them. You know what I mean? They're these rogue people all trying not to go the intergalactic jail. You know what I mean? And also trying to stop this cosmic level threat that could basically destroy a whole planet. And yes, it's similar, but there's something missing. There's something missing. Like if you were to watch this and watch Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I'm not even gonna say, oh, the characters were the same. There's something missing, which I still haven't been able to figure out what. If this is the new Avengers, then who in the hell is Sam, aka Cap, leading? Him and Falcon. But then again, are you Are you gonna have Miss Marvel and the other Hawkeye girl and uh, and what's the Native American girl, Echo, and who else? Who else you got? Um, you might got Riri in there. Who else? I feel like there's one more female. Oh yeah, the from Ant-Man, the daughter. They're supposed to be the young Avengers. Then you got Wiccan. So I don't know if they all gonna be the young Avengers. I don't know if they're gonna be the new Avengers. I don't know. Movie was dope, action packed, sad and fun. They all killed in their roles, better than both Suicide Squads and anything Marvel put out in a long time. I had a ball watching this. Now, I know that I didn't like the first Suicide Squad when it came out. But I think when they did the second one, I think they polished Harley Quinn's character. They polished Rick Flag's character. You had the Weasel thing, and then you had who did Idris play? Deadshot, and then you had the dude that John Cena played. Um, man, I forgot that dude's name. I'm not gonna say that I like. I'm not gonna say that I like this better than that second Suicide Squad movie. Now, don't get me wrong, Starro, and there was a lot. There was a lot going on, but like even I can still remember that first like scene when they landed on the beach, uh, and uh, and everybody was dying. You know what I mean? That scene was crazy. Did the dude with the dots, did he die there or did he die after that? Because that was hilarious. I remember the dude with the dots. Like there was, and almost, I would almost say that this movie would have maybe have been better if, and I liken this because I put this up here. Sorry. Okay, hold on. Nah, but hold on. But wasn't Starro shooting out all the things that was like sticking on people's faces? I mean, again, that was a cosmic level threat at the end of the movie. But what I'm saying is, like, as you know what it is, it's almost like Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad were willing to go like as far as possible, so there were no like there was nothing to lose, so they could just go as big as they wanted to. Whereas this, I feel like they didn't go that big. Now, again, if you like the movie, I'm not trying to change your opinion. I just want to have a conversation. But I mean, this going watching this movie from the very beginning, I was like, yo, this feels very much like Suicide Squad, except for Julia Louis Dreyfus isn't Viola Davis. She doesn't have that power. But then when you had the Suicide Squad, like they were either gonna die by Viola, right? Amanda Waller, they were gonna die in action, or they were going to kill each other, and then they had to all work as a team. So like the stakes were high all the way around. Whereas with this, it felt like they wasn't gonna die. Like once they got out of that building, it really felt like the movie was over, and that they chose to go back, and not because they were like, "Yo, we gotta go get Bob," but because Bucky was like, "Yo, we gotta get Bob." Um, Like if they were on their way to go get Bob, and then Bucky showed up, and Bucky was like, "Nah, you're coming with me," and they were like, "Nah, we got to go get Bob," and then he tied them up, and then he got the phone call about Bob, and then he was like, "I guess we got to go get Bob." Then, then yes, like that would have been better, but they were already leaving. Like they could have just went with dude. Starro should have bodied the Suicide Squad. Hey man, I don't write the movies. I just critique them, right? Um, now, and again, because I don't know when you jumped on, but I did say that. I mean, there were parts of this movie that I did like. The action scenes were dope. This one was tough. Terminator. Terminator was dope. But like I said, I think there was places where there could have been a lot more humor. Like I was, he could have rolled up to the car. What could have would have been like, yo, pull over, pull over. They're like, nah, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. He's like, pull over, pull over. And then they're pointing back to like the tank, and he's like, I'll be back. And then he goes out and takes the tank, and then he's trying to get them to pull over, and they won't pull over. So then he shoots the gun and he stops it. That would have been like way more funnier than played out. But the whole Terminator thing I thought was dope. All the fight scenes were dope. I thought Sentry not even getting like barely chipped up was hilarious, and he was just taking the punches and the electrocution and tearing off the Wakandan Bucky arm. White Tiger, was it not White Tiger? White, what is he called? The White something. Is it White Lion or something? I don't think it's White Tiger, but you know, and then he bent up the shield for U.S. Agent. I mean, again, and then old girl was trying to run, and then he caught her, and then he threw Red Guardian out the window. Oh man, that was crazy. And then he brought him back. That was crazy. I mean, there were things in this movie that were dope. I just think overall, like, it didn't feel, there was something missing. It was like this was like unsweetened home tea, right? I mean, you got the tea in there, you got the water in there, you let it sit there for the right amount of time, you got the ice in there, cool, you got the glasses, cool, but then you gonna take a sip, and you're like, yo, this ain't it. Sentry is Marvel's Superman. Only dude that can see him is World War Hulk. And I mentioned that, right? Because I did my research, right? And I found that out. But he could take his punches. I didn't say he could beat him, but he could take his punches. But my other issue is that my thing with Bob is like, now Bob doesn't remember what happened. So I wonder if this has already happened for Bob, and he got through the void and then forgot, because at the beginning of the movie he seemed like he did forget, and then he slowly started to remember. And I know that's something in the comics where he, like, when he's able to like lose his memory and forget and get everybody to forget, the void goes away, and then as he gets his memory back, Sentry comes back and the void comes back. And I get it. He's Superman. He's like I said, yeah, he is Marvel's Superman. And I think it's cool. He got a dark passenger with him. I'm cool with him as a character, but I think especially for this movie, he's way too OP. Like, at least let him like slowly but surely, like, you know, slowly but surely get powerful. And then, like, even if he was fighting Doctor Doom and then the void came out, and then they had to worry about Sentry turning into the void and Doctor Doom, and then Void got rid of Doctor Doom, but then they all had to try to stop Sentry. And then Yelena was like, I got this. And then she goes into the void, and then hey, Void, sun's getting real low. And then she hulks him and takes him back down. And then that's how they stop it. That is earned right there. That is earned. But the way that they did this doesn't work. Raj, I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you acknowledging my analogy. Thank you. This movie was an introduction to this team. Once Bob is under control, this team will be a problem. That's the thing. I don't think he's under control, right? You don't have the kill switch. And that's my other thing. You could barely get, and I said that too. Val barely has Sentry under control. If Void gets out of hand, that's it. Like if Void and what's this girl's name? Florence. What her name? Not what is her name now? Yelena. If Yelena goes on a separate mission than Sentry, it's a wrap. Like Yelena is now handcuffed to him wherever he goes, because you can't afford for him to get out of hand, or they're gonna do what they tried to do with Scarlet Witch and try to keep her locked in the tower. Oh, I don't fight anymore. I'm retired. Like you I think they went too hard too fast. If they would have introduced Sentry, like even if Val did something and she was like, Sentry, you can't like be with them. And he's like, no, I'm gonna be with my friends, and then I'm gonna stop you and whoever this Starro cosmic level character is, and then they stop him. And then that's it. And then you leave it at that. And then the rest of the end credit scenes and everything plays out the way it plays. But then in the back of the mind, all the fans know that, yo, this dude is going to get out of hand at some point. And you don't even have to do it with like Scarlet Witch, where she loses vision in her kids. Like it could be anything. He could get set off. They could tease him the wrong way. He could get put on something, wrong mission, something. See something in the paper he don't like. He's emo. It's not hard to set him off. But you know, like further down the line, like, yo, this could get, you know it's coming. And then again, you bring that into Doomsday. Everybody's trying to fight Dr. Doom. They can't stop him. I don't know what happens. Something go wrong. Void gets hurt or passed out like he did in this. Then he wakes up like the Void. A.K.A., Jean Grey being the Phoenix or whatever. And next thing you know, like, oh snap. He's starting to get rid of the Avengers and the villains. Oh, now we got to deal with this threat. We thought we had one threat. Now we got to deal with this threat. A la Credence from the Fantastic Beasts movie. But Florence is like, I got it. And she go in there and she take it out. And now you can move forward. You know that they're a team. You know that they all have that chemistry and all of that stuff. You see the camaraderie that they all have, and you see that like, hey yo, like this dude might be a problem. All right, you said this was you said same could be said about Hulk. They're not gonna let Sentry run wild in MCU, but aren't they having like a World War Hulk movie? I thought that was the movie that they were still working on. Ain't that the point? What did I? You said they're gonna need that level of power in Doomsday. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But let Void be the other threat. Let Doomsday do everything he's gonna do, and nobody can stop him. And then Void like lose it, and now they gotta stop Doctor Doom and the Void. And now Marvel is back. That's Endgame level right there. If not Endgame, that's at least Infinity War right there. I'm telling you. And then whatever else they gonna, and then you still got to worry about maybe Galactus coming with Fantastic Four. I don't know. All I'm saying is, there you go. I got you at least 3 movies right there. I mean, but it won't be a surprise though. Like, remember, like the whole thing with like them introducing like Thanos and all of these things was like Oh, we see him. He's in the end credit. We know the level that's coming. We know what's coming, yada, yada, yada. But I don't know. Now that I feel like they showed Void, I feel like it's not like a surprise of this got to happen. You know what I mean? Um, Hell, you know what even would even be crazier? I'll even give you a crazier idea. They could start they could even did it with this one, but they could start out a movie where like Void is like running rampant like throughout the city. Like way worse than how I mean like the whole entire city. And then Bob wakes up from a dream. And he don't know what's that all about. Yes, he lost his memory. So yes, they can still do it. But start the movie like that. You want to talk about getting and then imagine if they did it with this movie. Imagine if they started the movie not with Yelena jumping off the building like she's suicidal. Like imagine if they started the movie off with the Void destroying the city. And then Bob wakes up. And like you don't even see that he's in the room. You just see him wake up. And then everything else plays out. It's a $1 million idea right there. And then imagine even worse that they still don't even do the Void in that. But he's dreaming about it. I mean, they can still do it though. He doesn't remember. You could leave it. You could leave this as the plot. I'm just talking about the level of the threat. We don't have a threat level. MCU has kept us consistent by giving us a threat level. The end credit scene was the Fantastic Four coming. We knew that was already. Show us Galactus coming. Or show us Fantastic coming and Galactus reaches and grabs the ship or something. That's what we don't need to know that the good guys are coming. We know the good guys are coming. The bad guy is the Void. Show us the Void, but show it to us out of context. The Void's coming. The what? I don't know what you're talking about. Sentry. Nah, what are you talking about? That's Superman. What are you talking about? That's Superman with Jean Grey powers. What are you talking about? Nah, man. The Void is coming. And just have that, the Void's coming. I thought Dr. Doom was coming. Yep. But the Void is coming. Hell, you could even make the plot a Doomsday. Dr. Doom is trying to get to the planet because he needs Void. For whatever. Maybe that's the point. Or maybe he's already on Earth. And he sees it on TV. I don't know. I'm just saying. To me, this is not the epitome of the MCU being back. We're not back until we are so geared up for the next movie or next 2 or 3 movies because the villain is coming. I don't care about the good guys. I want the bad guys. Who's the bad guy? Galactus ain't coming here. Galactus is going over there. Who coming over here? Who do we got to worry about? Right? Hell, I'll even give it to you better. I'll give it to you even better. They shouldn't even have shown the Fantastic Four ship. You know who they should have showed? The male Silver Surfer. Why? Because we know the female one going over there. Show the male one coming over here. Show that the threat it's a twofer. Void isn't the main villain in the story arc. It's Dr. Doom. I know. Exactly. But to your point, you got to worry about the Void. You still got to worry about him. Think about it like this. They showed us that if you use Sentry and he gets emotional, he's going to turn into the Void. Now I don't know how that works, and I don't know what triggers Sentry in what triggers Sentry to turn into the Void in the comics. From what I read or understood, that they were almost acting as two separate entities, and they didn't even realize it was the same thing for a minute. And I'm saying, if that's canon in the comics, they didn't realize that they were the same entity. I'm saying we know that they're the same entity before the end of the first movie to introduce who the Sentry is. Forget the Void. Them introducing Sentry, we're understanding that those are the two people. Listen, you saying I'm underestimating God Doom. You saying that, I don't know which version of Doom we getting. Are we getting God Doom? Are we getting Dr. Doom? Are we getting in it? I had this argument before. Are we getting Tony Stark version of Dr. Doom? We don't know. How come Dr. Doom wasn't the end credit? Why are they showing us Fantastic Four? We don't care about Fantastic Four. We want Dr. Doom, right? If Dr. Doom is the villain that's coming, why are they showing us Fantastic Four? Show us Dr. Doom or Galactus. Showing the F4 during the post-credit pissed me off. Stop ruining. I want to go to the movie theater to see. Yeah, it's coming out in like 2 months. We don't need that. You know what we need? How they had Thanos do the little, I'll do it myself. Hell, I don't even care if they show Dr. Doom. What's Dr. Doom's name? Victor? Is it Victor Von Doom? What's a picture of Victor? How come Victor isn't in the street when all of this stuff is happening in New York? Yo, who that? I need to figure out what that is. I need that. I need me some of that. The whole Avengers Doomsday based on God, Doom, and Battleworld. Don't we got to get the... Okay. Okay, first of all, I thought we were going to World War Hulk before we were going to Battleworld. 1. 2, you're saying the Avengers Doomsday is based on God Doom. Cool, but where's Doom at? We don't have a Dr. Doom in this. We don't have a Dr. Doom in the MCU right now. My point is, why not show us Dr. Doom in the post-credit scene? Show the dude. Show, if you want to say it's Dr. Doom, God Doom, Zoom Doom, whoever. Show us that in the post-credit scene. Show us him putting the what do you call it together? His chair, his throne together. Show him pulling on a chain or somebody tied up in the chain, and he'd be like, "Yo, where you going?" Right? Why you're showing us something that's coming out in like less than 60 days to get me hype? I don't need you to get me hype. I'm either going or I'm not. But if you leave this on the right at the right post-credit scene, now I can't wait to go see. The post-credit scenes are not for the good people. They're not showing him in Thunderbolts. Why not? Okay, show us Galactus. Why can't they show us Galactus? Galactus is hell. They could have did the stinger. The stinger for the Thunderbolts movie could have had something to do with Galactus and Silver Surfer getting on the radar of Fantastic Four. Why is that Galactus going after that specific Earth? Is it something they did? Is it because they went out the atmosphere? What happened? Again, hey boss, you see that? Yeah, why don't you go check that out for me? I'm right behind you. I got something to take care of right here. Why not? You saying they not showing that in Thunderbolts, like they haven't shown this. Like, that's not what they do. That's what they do. That's literally what Marvel does. They give us the little, the crumbs, the dribble, right? We talking sinners. Give me some. Give me some. Let me get some. Just a little taste. What's up? I don't know. That's all I'm saying. And okay, as a whole other thing, did Taskmaster being killed in this movie undermine the whole movie of Black Widow? I think I said it before, but that's just something I want y'all to think about, because the whole point of Black Widow was the redemption and trying to make peace and all of that with Natasha's whole her killing the kid thing, and then Taskmaster comes in and then dies like 5 seconds into the movie. They not showing him in Thunderbolts. All right. So you saying they not showing him? Okay, Galactus is going after Franklin Richard. Why can't you show us? Why can't you show us somebody putting together the baby crib, the rattle, something, stroller, car seat, something, baby on the mind? I don't know. Hearing the baby crying, I don't know, something. Because I don't know. I don't know if Franklin Richard is going to be born on our Earth or their Earth. I mean, I know she's pregnant, yada yada yada. I don't know. All I'm saying is, because give us something. I mean, we didn't even get nothing from the post credits. Come on. You can't tell me Marvel is back. I'm sorry. And you can't, you can rate this however you want to rank this. But this ain't no Black Panther. So, what am I going to rate it? Seen the movie twice. Had a discussion about it. Couldn't even get nothing out of the mid-credit scenes to bump it up like a little piece of something. Yeah, I'm gonna just have to give it a C plus. C plus, man. That's all I got. I mean, we talking about 36 installments of the MCU. There's a lot at the bottom, and there's a whole bunch of few stuff at the top. But I'm not, just because this is the new era that we in doesn't mean that this is at the top. Has it been something better than what we've gotten lately? Yes. Was it better than Brave New World? For the most part. Was it concise? Yes. Was it consistent? Yes. Were the characters developed better than they usually are? Yes. Did they probably have the characters written before they wrote the plot? Yes. Did they probably do the characters before they did the action scenes? Yes. Were there rewrites? Absolutely. Are these, for the most part, characters that we've seen before in other properties? Yes. Did what they did, does the storyline make sense? Yes. Does what drives them make sense and is true to character? Sure. Was there anything out of left field that was dumb or did not make sense? Not particularly. It just wasn't great. And again, I went and I rewatched Black Widow last night, and Black Widow is better than this. I mean, the humor was better, the stakes were higher, the spy thriller on the edge of your seat was better. The action scenes, I mean, they had like a whole like plane prison scene, crazy. Don't know what the budgets were. Were there Black Widowing in that? Absolutely. Was it still like, a great spy thriller, absolutely. So yeah, man, I'll give this a C plus. It's not for you. That's cool. I'm excited about what's to come, and they off to a good start for Phase 5. Kevin Feige almost made me get on a plane and find him. How he gonna have Sam Wilson, aka New Cap America, suing somebody? Black Widow was not better. They messed up Taskmaster so bad. Um, is this movie for me? I mean, I think this. I think is it for me as far as a fan? Yes. Is it for me as a movie person? No, because I think it could have been better. And I think like I'm not here to change anyone's opinion. I just think like um has it been better than a lot of stuff that gotten? Yes. And I mean we've gotten a lot like I mean it's like we've fallen so far from where we were. It's almost crazy how we got here. Um But I mean, there are things, even, even TV shows or projects or stuff that I've enjoyed better than this. I'm not saying this is terrible and I'm not saying this is the worst thing ever. But I mean, this as a movie is just middle of the road. And I think safety, I think that's what it was for. I think it was to be safe. And I think that's where they got. And I think now, if they're saying, okay, now we're safe, now we can build on top of that, cool. But does this get me hyped for the next thing? Am I excited? No, because I mean, Marvel changes its mind all the time. I mean, we talking about a Blade movie that has gotten scrapped like 5 times that still ain't coming out. So, like, yeah, you could be excited for what's to come, but I mean, if you want to really think about what's to come, the only thing that's coming out is the next movie. That's the only thing for sure that we know, right? Um, with the whole like yeah going to get the whole thing with Captain America suing somebody. I think like I think what makes this even worse is I feel like they try to have some continuity between Captain America and this movie, and I think there's a thread missing. And when is all of this going to get sorted out? Because it's not getting sorted out in Fantastic Four. Hell, we don't even know if Doomsday is going to be on this earth or somewhere else. So when is all of this drama about the Avengers going to get sorted out? I don't know. Um, Black Widow is not better. They messed up Taskmaster so bad. So I when I first watched Black Widow, I didn't like it. But again, I just watched it yesterday, rewatched it yesterday. And the main reason why I didn't like it is because of when it came out. It was after Endgame. We had already seen Scarlet die. It was dated for when it was supposed to happen. It just didn't make sense. It just seemed so low budget. It didn't fit in where we were at the time. But when you look at this, where you look at what that story was about, it's important to the character of Natasha. And it's about her basically accepting her wrongdoings from the past and forgiving herself, um, her guilt, dealing with her guilt, not only for leaving her sister, but all the other widows, even though she thought all the other widows were okay. It's crazy because like you would think like she would be able to figure out where her sister was, but she never did. So I'm sure there was some guilt there. And dealing with the whole like family dynamic that, what is it, dysfunctional family. it works, bro. And Taskmaster has that family dynamic. Her dad is the person that runs the widows, is just used as a tool. Like, it's not like, oh, that's my daughter, and is free just like all the other widows are freed, and then she's able to forgive Natasha at the end. But I think all of that growth that Natasha does in that movie is what helps Yelena, because I think without that, and her watching her sister go through that, and the maturity and forgiving herself and all of this, I think the Yelena that we would get in this movie would be different. And I don't think it works. And I mean, seeing the growth from the Yelena from that Black Widow movie to who we have now is only important where she is able to help Bob because of where she started from and how she into where she is now. Yeah, she's like dealing with her sister and trying to get over the grief of that, but I think like there's a part of her that would not have worked without that movie. And I don't know the last time you've seen it, but I would definitely go back and rewatch it and see if you feel any differently. And you don't have to do it today. You could do it next week. You could do it this month. I would do it like sooner than later while like this movie is fresh on your mind. But I think like there's stuff woven into that story that is not just surface. Leave Blade franchise alone. Let Wesley Snipes have his legacy and move on. And yeah, shout out to Wes and Blade, and shout out to Blade being in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, because I think that's the last time we're gonna get that. So yeah, shout out to him. Wasn't dark enough for me for a Black Widow movie. Black Widow shouldn't be rated R, or should be rated R. That was not shouldn't be rated R. That was not Taskmaster. Taskmaster. That's why they killed her 5 minutes in the movie so they could do him right. I mean, I think that's the theory, but again, man, I think it's wishful thinking. I think clearing the board of characters for other characters is just wishful thinking. You can hope, but what if they don't? What if that's the only version you get? You know what I'm saying? Um, and I mean, you got more faith in the MCU than you do in the Knicks right now, Puzzo. I'm just saying, with all love. I got you. Yeah, I mean, but I also think at that time they were not doing rated R movies like that. Nixon 5. But yeah, man. So I do appreciate y'all. Like I said, I'm gonna work on this whole sinners, not sinners, but Ryan Coogler kind of um, ranking of his movies. I don't know what else is coming out this month besides Lilo and Stitch. I watched The Accountant. Now that's not for me. I watched The Accountant and The Accountant too, and that's not for me. So don't come knocking on my door for like a real review of that, because you're on your own. You either like it or you don't. I'm a novice fan, and I couldn't tell the difference between Master and Ava, or whoever the lady was from Ant-Man movies I never watched. Um, but are you okay? But I mean that does go back to my point about them all kind of being carbon copies. Anyway, like when we think about the Avengers, I mean everybody is coming from their own place with their own skill, with their own stuff, dealing with it. Um, and again, that's another point why this didn't work for me. They're just all the same, except for I guess Century. Uh, but Bob is emo like the rest of them. So, but yeah, let's see. Let me just Google this real quick. What movies I guess I have to watch Mobland. I'm still waiting for you to tell me is the whole season out. I'm not watching The Last of Us season 2. Um, unless somebody at the end of the season is like, "Yo, that's the best piece of television I've ever seen in my life," then maybe. But other than that, no. Oh, Warfare. Yeah, I did watch that. That was a good movie. If you need like a different movie, Warfare was really good. Uh, Mission Impossible. I don't want to do all of this. Just give me like a. Would the grid even be better? Sorry, this website is giving me trouble. I'm trying to see what movies are coming out this month, but it's trying to do it by like each day. I don't know. Thought it seemed like Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch, I think, are coming out this year or this month. Oh, Karate Kid. Jesus. Right. I mean, we about to be on Wikipedia in a minute. Final Destination Bloodlines. Hurry Up Tomorrow. I don't know what that is. Oh, Hurry Up Tomorrow is the movie with the weekend in it. Okay. It comes out the 16th. I do want to see that. Like I said, Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, Lilo and Stitch, and Karate Kid. Yeah, so it's a slow month. So yeah. Hey, cuz I love you, man. Talk to you later. Thank you for joining us. Uh, yeah, I'm watching. Definitely gonna watch Mission Impossible. Warfare worked for me because I like it was like a very intense, like a very intense, like realistic kind of like high stakes thing. Like I mean, I'm not looking at it like, oh, the characters were great and the themes and nah, man, it was just a very like visceral kind of like in the moment thing that they were dealing with that they had to get out of. And I mean, I think like a glimpse into that is just very surreal. And I think sometimes when we're, you know, um, safe in our beds at night, we don't really think about some of the stuff that other people have to deal with. Um, and that had like real world consequences, and it was based on a true story. So, I mean, I think that was big. That was that was big, and it's by what A24. Like it, I'm not expecting this to win Oscars or nothing, but it's very serious. And I mean, who hasn't dealt with a boss or a supervisor that acted like they was all in charge, and then when ish hit the fan for real, um, was like, "Yo, I'm out. Somebody else take over." That was the moment for me. Like, yeah, I bet you were doing all of that. You got to do it this way. You got to listen to me, and da, 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 da. And then guess what? Stuff got real, and you were like, "Yo, I can't handle it." So I don't know, man. For me, that was just a good, just kind of good thing. Just a very interesting watch for me. But yeah, man, I'm about to wrap it. I gotta go eat dinner, which is crazy, and then go to bed. So I don't even know how long we've been on. 2 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah, about the use, you know. Um, but I know playoffs about to get crazy and stuff. So we'll see. I'm still trying to stick to this time slot, this day and time and stuff, trying to be consistent. So we'll see. But um, I will be back soon, and I will work on that Ryan Coogler ranking for y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Um, I'm not watching Last of Us, so you make my Sunday nights worthwhile. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, yada yada yada. Let us get to 50. We have 43 people. We got 43 subscribers. Let's get to 50, bro. 50 this month. I gotta figure out how to do like a campaign. Be my birthday wish. For my birthday this month, let's get to 50 subscribers. That would make me happy. Um, yeah, we'll circle back in a couple days, talk about the stuff that's coming out this month, what we're looking forward to. Um, yeah, man. Like, share, subscribe, yada yada yada. We out. Peace. Okay, yeah. Good night for real.